Hello guys, my name is Kevin Chikesi. I'm a UI/UX designer. So today we're going to look into how to prototype using number variable. So let me show you an example. You can see what I did here. Once I click on the plus sign, the amount increases and also the item number increases by 1. As you can see here. So we're going to learn how to achieve this using Figma number variable. So stay tuned. Hello guys, before we get started, I want you to note something. So for this price here, what I did was to separate the dollar sign and the actual amount. So the reason is because Figma number variable doesn't recognize the dollar sign or the dollar symbol. It doesn't recognize it. It only recognizes numbers. So what I did was to add an auto layout to this. As you can see here, there is spacing, just zero spacing. So I add an auto layout to this, separating the dollar symbol from the actual amount. So the same thing applies here. We have the dollar symbol all alone and we have the actual amount. So having said that, let's move to creating the local variable. So the first variable we're going to create will be the quantity amount variable, and once we are done creating with the quantity amount variable, we'll create the item amount variable. So let's start with the quantity amount variable. Make sure you're not checking anything. Make sure your mouse cursor is not on this frame, right? Make sure it's not on the frame. Then on your left panel you see local variables. You click on this. Okay, let me take this out. I created this when I was trying it out. So yours will be empty. Yours is going to be empty. You create the quantity count, and how to create the quantity count is to click on this create variable, then you select number, then we'll call this quantity count. Then the value should be 1. We want it to be 1 for now. Then the next is to create the amount variable. So you click on create variable, select number, then call this amount. Then the value should be 219.95. So we are done creating the number variable. Let's move to attaching this variable to these numbers. So let's start with the amount. You can see this icon here that says apply variable. Click on it, then you attach the amount, and also for this you select, click on this icon, then attach the amount. Then for this quantity count you select it, click on this icon, then quantity count. Also for this part, this card, you select this, apply quantity count. So we are done applying all these variables to these numbers. We now have to move to interaction, that's the prototype. Click on your frame, then switch to prototype, from design to prototype. So the first thing we will prototype will be the adding and subtraction. So we want, when a user clicks on this quantity count will add by 1, and when the user clicks on this quantity count will reduce by 1. So let's start with the addition. You click on this, then select interaction, then this should be trigger on click. So the default is on click and you need to leave it there. Then set action. What action do we want to set up? we want to set a variable. Then what's the name of the variable? We want to set a quantity count variable. So we want, when a user clicks on the plus button, we want this quantity count to add, which is addition, to add by 1, right? So it's as simple as that. Let's do for the minus button. You click on interactions, then leave it on click, set an action, which is set variable quantity count. We want this quantity count to reduce, which is subtraction, to reduce by 1. So having done that, let's try it out to see if it's going to work. Shift and space. Let's see. As you can see, it's working, and once you click on this, it's working. But we have a problem. The problem is that once you continue clicking on this, you start seeing negative numbers, -2, -3, -4, and we want to stop this. We want when the user gets to 0, so that it's going to stop. We don't want it to continue after getting to 0, so we want it to stop at 0. Let's fix that. To fix that, you need to click on this, this blue icon, like this icon here. Click on it, then press the plus sign, which is add an action, sorry. Then we want to set a condition. Sorry, not this. Let me take this out. We want to set a condition, and under this condition, right, we have to bring this down. So the reason is because we want this condition to take over, like take charge of every interaction that is going to occur on this button. So let's bring this down. So it's going to be under the condition, right? Then let's write the condition. You want this quantity count when it's greater or equals to 2, let this occur, let this interaction occur. But when it's less than 2, let nothing happen, right? We don't want anything to happen when it's less than 2. But if it's above 2 or equal to 2, let this interaction occur. This first interaction we created, let it occur. Let's try it out to see if it's going to work. Then you can see it's stopping at 1, and that's what we actually want. You don't want it to be below 1 and start giving us negative numbers. We just want to stop at 1. So that's that. Then the second thing is to make this amount interactive. So when the item adds by 2, we want this to increase by 2 also. When it adds by 3, we want this amount to multiply, right? So let's work on that. You have to click on this plus button, then select this tiny icon, click on the plus sign to add a variable, then select set a variable. Then what variable do we want to set? We want to set the amount variable. Then want the amount to add, which is addition, to add by 219.95. when a user clicks on this plus button, we want it to add by this. Then this is done. Let's do for the minus button. Click on this and bring this here. So you click on this tiny plus button. We want to set a variable, which is the amount. We want the amount, sorry, not the quantity count. We want the amount to reduce, which is subtraction, reduce by 219.95. So this is done. Let's try it out to see if it's going to work. Let's close this and refresh. Close this tab, then shift and space. Let's see. As you can see, it's adding up. As you can see, it's reducing. But we still have a problem here. If we continue clicking on this minus 40, you can see we are having negative numbers, and we don't want that. We want this interaction to stop at 290.95. We don't want negative numbers. We don't want negative numbers, just like you are seeing it here. We don't want negative numbers. We want it to stop at 290.95. Let's fix that. You click on this minus sign. Click on this little icon. Then what we want to set is a condition. Click on the plus sign, conditional, and we want this condition to control every interaction that is under this button. We want this condition to control every interaction. So what we have to do is to bring this here. This first interaction we set up, we have to kind of bring it under this condition. Then we set up the condition. So what is the condition? We want the amount when it's greater or equals to 439.45. So you might ask, how did I got the number, or how did I get the number? So what you have to do is to kind of add this number, like 290.95 plus 290.95. So whatever it gives you, that's what you're going to add. You're going to add here. So that's what I did. So when this amount is greater or equal to 439.45, let this interaction occur. So but when it's less than this amount, let nothing happen. That's what we did here. That is just the simple mathematics. So if amount is greater or equal to 439.45, let this interaction takes place. But if it's less than this amount, let nothing happen. So let's close this and try it out. Let's also close this tab and try it out one more time. Then shift and space. Adding up. Then let's reduce it. You can see once we get to 1, it's no longer reducing because that's the least amount. That's the least amount. That's the least quantity, right? See, it's adding up, and click on this. When it gets to 1, it stops because that's the least. And you can also see here it's adding here inside our cat icon. You can see the number is 1, and if I should add this and make it like 5, come here, it's 5. So that basically how to create this number interaction. If you have a question, you can drop in the comment section. I'm willing to help you out if you are actually stuck on creating this interaction. So that will be it for today. See you guys next time.